He said, well, would you do me a favour? I said, what? He said, would you take me in the toilet and strangle me? I said, oh, don't be silly, Bill. I said, times have changed, you will get out. So anyway, I wouldn't do it. So he went to another geezer called, he was called something. He escaped, but he took him in the toilet because he was nutty, didn't he? Got hold of it and held it there and killed him in the toilets.
So he asked you to kill him and you said no, so he asked another patient?
Yeah, another patient had done it for him, killed him, yeah.
We've only just really scratched the surface with Roy. He's told me some terrible things that have happened to him when he was actually in Broadmoor. They held him down and they injected him up through the back of his cheek, behind his eye, and just took a little bit of his brain. And I was just so shocked when he told me that he was just, you know, well, that's what they did. But so many things have been done to him, so many things have happened to him. It's just like thick-skinned now. It doesn't affect him at all.
Since '73, Roy Shaw has been a free man, apart from a couple of minor hiccups. Now he's got his own website with photos of his time in Broadmoor. I've seen pictures of you, Roy, in your cell, drinking, with a gun, a fake gun. Are those things easy to get hold of in Broadmoor?
Yeah, well, we had at that particular time I had a bloke working in the stores. He used to get the drinks in for us. Had a camera in us, that's where we got the photos. You know, the gun, it was just like a kid's toy thing, you know, nothing dangerous about it. So I just had the photo taken like that, you know, like a gangster.
So I remember when I was in there with Ron, I was going in to visit him, I had like a little lighter, and I took it in with me because you're searched and so much before, but when you get in there, the security is so tight. But I kept this little gun, this little tiny Derringer it was, and I sat next to him, and he got a fag out, and I pulled the gun out, and I put it to his head, and I said, you're coming with me. And for a moment, he just froze, and just looked at me, and then I pulled the trigger and the little light came out, and he thought it was funny.
Coming back to Broadmoor was like taking a trip down memory lane for both of us.
Down there, that's the Angel, yeah, that's the Angel where I used to meet all the screws. When Ron used to want to ring me in the middle of the night or whatever, it always cost him an electric organ or a portable TV, and I always used to have to meet him underneath the White Angel, because none of these fences was here then. I used to have to meet them, and they'd always be parked up with their boots up, waiting for their Yamaha electric organ or colour telly, or just for one phone call. That was the only bit where, if you look though, there's no cameras at all there.
No.
That's the only place that they couldn't see you.
All right there looking at us.
Hello.
And Roy being Roy, there was always a girlie.
Did you ever have a girlfriend when you was in it?
There was a young girl who used to write letters to each other and like, yeah. She was a nice, she was, I don't believe it, I forget her name, but she was the youngest woman patient ever to come in here. So I think she was in there when she was 16.
What did she do?
Someone called her, she had spots on the face, and a young kid was calling her spotty face. So she got him and stuck his head in the river and drowned him. Because when she went to court, because she showed no emotion, you know, why she done it and everything, they thought she must be ill, must be sick, so they stuck her in there. But she was a lovely, pretty little girl. And she was my sweetheart while we was
She sounds lovely.
Yeah. She was my sweetheart when I was in here.
Do what you gotta do. Let's burp the ice. How are you?
Roy's always out with a beautiful bird, and if it's not his latest flame, then it's his daughter and granddaughter.
He's a very social person as well, and he's fun to go out with. I was out with him the other night, we had a brilliant time. I mean, you know, he's fantastic company, you know, he's really entertaining, especially when he's himself. When Dad came out, I saw him as my dad, and I used to find it really weird how people used to be really uncomfortable, especially men, like when they used to see him and how different and nervous they'd be.
By then, Roy's ex-wife Carolina had a boyfriend, Arthur, and Arthur was either brave or very stupid.
Arthur used to work with Mum, and he was a nice man, he was a really nice man. And he came round for Mum, and of course Dad was there and he was very uncomfortable with it, but I don't think Dad knew what was going on at the time.
I went up to see my wife and the door was open. He was saying, well, I love you, Carol, I love you, you stay with me. And I thought, what an arsehole, you know, so I just went in there, pulled him out and whacked him. And my wife, ex-wife, jumped on me and I give her a backhander. And there was the balcony, and I just threw him over there. And as he was over there, that's when I went, cool, what have I done?
Now, when Dad threw him off the balcony, I wasn't actually there. But I did go to the flat. I did go to the flat afterwards, and I saw the blood on the carpet, and I knew it was Arthur's blood. I knew that Dad had done it, and I knew that he'd hurt Arthur, and you know, it repulses me. It's a side of him that I really don't like. He's the only man I've ever really been frightened of in my whole life. I'm not frightened of him now.
In his younger days, Roy was a brilliant boxer, and after his release, he did what he does best and went straight into the unlicensed ring.
When he came out of the neck, he said he had a few £1,000. He said, Joe, I've got a few quid. All I know how to do is fight. Get me a fight. That's all he knew how to do.
Altogether, he had 16 fights, but the contest that went down in boxing folklore was against the undefeated King of the Gypsies, Donny the Bull Adams.
Well, I trained so hard for it. You don't train 3 days before you fight. But I know I used to train right up to more or less to the day of the fight. And all the energy I was dishing out of my body every day was storing up. And I was like a time bomb.
You can't say it was a fight, because it only lasted a few seconds. He just walked across the ring, went bosh, bosh, left hook, bang, right hand, it was all over. And it was so hard on the chin, the guy went out, then Roy jumped on him, like, but he was out anyway when the right hand hit him.
I hit him and then I put, I ain't good enough energy, so I had to pick him up and start hitting him again, and it's a come get up, and I hadn't spent nothing. So that was the result of the fight.
With the dough from his fights, Roy built his own home in the Essex countryside. Then he moved up the property ladder to a monster of a mansion. But being the country squire wasn't Roy. Again he sold up and bought the gaff where he lives now, and this huckleberry which he rents out. He's on a nice little earner.
People think that he's done it through a robbery or doing this or doing that, but he hasn't. He's done it legitimately, as you can see.
For this prime bit of land, he's been offered nearly 2 million smackaroonies.
There's nothing like an honest pan now, as Roy would tell you. Especially his. He is worth a fortune. But I mean, he doesn't want to sell this. He'd just hang on to it until... He doesn't need the money, so he'd just hang on and hang on. Thinking of marrying him, actually.
And I'm not the only one. Until recently, he was seeing me mate Ashley. So I travelled north to Sheffield for a good old natter.
Well, I've heard lots of people say, lots of his exes have said that it's worth putting up with all the nonsense with him because he's such a fantastic lover.
When you're with Roy, you get all the trappings. He gives you a Mercedes, he buys you all the best clothes, you go to the best places, you're treated like a princess. But it comes with the downside. Same as everything, I suppose.
Hey, kid! You okay? Look at you, Lucy. Brilliant. I want to kill her.
A 40-year-old divorcee, Ashley's no shrinking violet, but even she found it difficult going out with Roy.
With Roy, it was the minute you walked in was a statement. You know, it was like, don't touch, don't look, or anything. So uncomfortable. I mean, I could even know with Roy's friends, close friends, you could tell they were respect, which they all have for each other, which is wonderful. But to other people who don't know and know of, they'd look at the floor, so I kind of felt an alien. I felt I was alone, out socialising.
Ashley was an extremely attractive, beautiful-looking girl. And I've never known anything like it. No matter where she went or what place everybody looked at her, not just men, women and all. She was like a stunning model.
I mean, and as people come across and what photographs took with you with Roy, you could tell that he didn't like it, or if they'd put their hand on your shoulder, he'd look and as if at any minute he could go off.
If I'm out with you and I'm standing at the bar having a drink and some geezer comes and says, hello, darling, would you like to have a drink with me? Now it's mugging me off. And I'm with you. So what you got to do? You get out of it.